We have breaking news coming out of Ottawa that the Senators have fired their head coach, DJ Smith, as well as the Avalanche are looking for a trade, which would be huge for the future of the team. We'll break all this down for you coming up on this episode of Hattrick HQ. But before we get into it, we just want to say that 82.4% of you guys watching aren't subscribed. So if you're looking for a place for daily NHL, daily Leafs content, look no further, go down below, hit that subscribe button, become part of the community here because we'll be here all season long. Keep me up to date on what's happening around the NHL. But with that said, let's get right into the first topic of the video today, and that is the Sens fire head coach DJ Smith. And as we take a look here from TSN, like we just said, the Ottawa Senators have fired head coach DJ Smith, and this is a result of the Ottawa Senators being last in the Atlantic right now with 11-15 record on a 4-game losing skid. And Mark, obviously, you can't blame the entire of their, in success on the head coach, but I mean, it does play a huge part into this team, and I feel like Ottawa was kind of under the microscope a little bit. They needed to do something, and I mean, firing the coach is just one thing that comes to mind.
Yeah, because the big thing, you kind of look at the Senators as a whole. They brought in Giroux a couple of years ago. Tarasenko was added this offseason. This is a team that was really making a push to kind of get back into the playoff hunt, be a bit of a contender. Not like I'd say contender a bit, but not in the sense of they're going to be a team that's going to win the championship. But it's just one of the things where they wanted to get into that mix again where they could get to the playoffs. And ultimately, they've been quite a disappointing team offensively, defensively. Goaltending has been a bit shaky defensively. Like I said, once again, is the main thing that was kind of struggling. So I think moving on to find a new head coach is definitely the right move. I mean, they were struggling. They couldn't get things rolling. It seemed like Smith kind of lost the room a little bit. So getting a new voice in here, getting new just coaching staff, I think is ultimately the best thing for the Sens at this moment.
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with you. They do have some young guys there who were kind of underutilized, in my opinion, like Josh Norris. I mean, Matthew Joseph looked phenomenal in the preseason. Kind of took a little dip off here in the regular season. Like you said, this team it has a great roster. They had the potential to be a playoff team, and I really hope maybe under a new head coach, his team can get the ball rolling again and hopefully climb the ranks in the Atlantic again. But for the meantime, we do have, as we take a look here, it says that they've named Jacques Martin as the interim head coach. And this is a guy who's been coaching for a long time, Mark. Back since the 86-87 season. We're going back a while here. He is a Jack Adams Award winner in the 98-99 season. With the Ottawa Senators, he was the head coach of Ottawa for a very long time, from 95-96 all the way to 03-04. And over the last couple years, he's been an assistant coach in the NHL, and over the last couple of seasons, he's been in the OHL as an advisor until coming back to Ottawa this offseason, or this December actually, as an advisor, now being named interim head coach. So I really do think that this guy is going to leave the team in great hands here. He's been a coach for a number of years. He knows what he's at. I really do think that in the meantime, I think this is a great coach to have in Ottawa.
Yeah, that's the big thing. And he also brings a lot of defensive awareness to his coaching style, so this will help with the Sens. We also seen Danny Alfredsson get named to the coaching staff as an assistant coach. We did see a glimpse of this when the Sens played in Sweden in the Global Series. So it's nice to see Alfredsson get on this bench, bring some of this leadership as a old player. We're kind of seeing it with Martin St. Louis playing in Montreal. He's bringing this just kind of this mentorship to the team where they're looking up to him. This is one of the all-time greats. So it's nice to get two of these guys on the coaching staff. It changes things up again, and like I said, you get more defensive minded coaching from them now, and then also the Alfredsson. I think is just an awesome pickup for the Sens.
Yeah, it's great to see Alfie back on the bench. Like you said, we did get a taste of it during the Sweden Global Series, so it'll be nice to see him there for the rest of the season. And I really think under Jacques Martin that this team will be able to pick it up, and they'll be a lot more sound defensively. And I think just having a new face in the dressing room will really help motivate these guys to get back to winning hockey. And they're not too far out of it right now with an 11-15 record. If they can go on a little roll here, I really do think that they could be back into playoffs by the end of the season. But we'll have to see what happens, and we'll keep up to date on everything that's happening around the Ottawa Senators. But we're going to get into our second topic of video today, and that is the Avs trading for Lindholm. And as we take a look here, Elliot Friedman recently said that he thinks Lindholm is one of the guys they're looking at, but I'm sure there are others. Again, I don't know what's going to happen, how much is going to happen before the freeze. Like I said, Colorado got some roster issues and some cap issues. They might have to wait, but they're lurking. There's no question that they are lurking out there. And as we also see here, they say Elias Lindholm would be an almost ideal two-center behind Nathan MacKinnon. He won't come cheap at his $4.85 million contract until the end of the season, but it will only increase his value at the deadline because there's a lot of teams that he'll be able to fit in. Because the Avalanche are using an LTIR, they aren't accumulating cap space, and they would potentially have to send a contract the other way if they were to make a move for a bigger contract. And as we take a look at his stats here, obviously he's had a great start to the season here at 20 points through 31 games, 7 goals, 13 assists, and obviously he's been great from the faceoff dot as well with a 55% from the faceoff dot, and he has 19 blocks and 27 hits. And Mark, this would be a great add to this Avalanche roster come playoff time. A guy who could really boost this second line, something that they've been struggling to find so far, throughout these last couple of seasons.
Yeah, so the big thing is when you look at the Avs, they had Kadri for a while when they did win their championship, and having him there at the second line C was ideal for them. And since then, we've kind of seen this bit of a struggle to fill it out. We've seen Newhook last year try to fill it out. It didn't work too well. We've seen Ross Colton get acquired, and they've been trying him at the second line C as well. And a guy like Ryan Johansson has been filling out great on the third line, but he hasn't been really that well when they did play him at the second line. So I think bringing Lindholm in would be ideal. I mean, you look at the Avs, this is a contending team. They're going to be a contending team for quite some time. I mean, Cale Makar is the best defenseman in the league. You have a guy like Nathan MacKinnon, Ranton, and there's so many big pieces on this roster that bringing in a defensive-minded center that can still put up points like Lindholm would just help push them to this point of contending a game and ultimately winning another Stanley Cup. So if Lindholm is still available, I know the Flames are kind of in and out of their selling phase. They go on a bit of a win streak, and maybe the GM's like, hey, maybe we should roll out. And then you just see them go on a bit of a slide. So if they are still selling guys like Tanev, Lindholm, and so on, I think the Avs have to be actively in on Lindholm. I think this is a huge piece for them. We just kind of see this team over and over again just make big pushes, big runs. Like I said, they won the Stanley Cup, and they want to get back into this contention again and ultimately bring home their second Stanley Cup in just a couple of years.
Yeah, I do think even if they use this guy, say, as a rental, I really do think that this would work out for Colorado. I really do think this is a great guy, like you said, plays a phenomenal two-way game, and a guy you need in the playoffs, a guy who's going to get into corners, he's going to win you draws in crunch time. He's great with his stick, and he can also shoot and pass the puck like, a great player as well. So as we take a look at this roster, you kind of alluded to it. They're kind of been struggling to find this second-line center, and as we take a look here with Elias Lindholm as the second line center here, with his wingers being Drouin and Miles Wood. I really do think that this would revitalize this second line and really make this line, a more of an offensive powerhouse with a guy like Lindholm who can play make like he can. And Jonathan Drouin, I know he's looking for redemption as well. So I mean, if you throw a guy like Lindholm with Drouin, a guy who's looking, to clear his name. I guess he's been slandered for so many years. I really do think that this will be a great fit for Elias Lindholm.
Yeah, no, that's the main thing. Just get him on this team, run the second line. He can run some PK for you as well. You can put him on the power play. He's such a interesting tool in the sense where you can play him in so many different situations, and he will succeed at all situations. So you can run this guy if you get him as a rental. You hopefully get Landeskog back next year or farther into the season, depending on how his health is looking. So this may be a rental, or if you can get him on a good deal, maybe a 4x5, 5x5, you could try to figure this out in the off season. It'd be even better pickup for the Avs.
Yeah, I definitely do agree. I really do think that they will be active on Elias Lindholm come trade deadline. Really do think that, like they say here in this article, they will have to give a contract back the other way. But I really do think it will be worth it to get a guy like Elias Lindholm on your team, and you can extend him for a few years at a pretty cheap cap hit, like you just said. But we're going to get into everybody's favorite topic here, and that is comment of the day. And the comment of the day today goes to our boy Daniel, day one supporter here on the channel. He says, "Oh my god, boys, you nailed it with this, with your first guest. Nicely done." Shout out to you, Daniel. And if you guys missed yesterday's video, we did have Kyle Cushman, a hockey journalist for The Score, on the channel. He put his knowledge down about all the Leafs prospects, about some prospects in the NHL. So if you're interested in that, make sure to go check that video out yesterday. And we're really hoping to get some more guests on the channel because that was such a great interview yesterday. We want to hear from you guys down in the comment section below. Who would you like to see us get on for our next guest on the channel? Put it down in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to go down below, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And we're trying to hit 3,000 subscribers before Christmas. We're a week away. So make sure to go down below and hit that subscribe button. And if, like I just said, if you want to check out this interview, it's going to be popping up on your screen right now. And make sure to go give Kyle Cushman a follow because he's such a great guy, knows a lot about hockey. And but as always, I've been your host, KC, alongside my co-host, Mark Pye. Keep your stick on the ice.